what's the Punic War? The Punic War is a war between Carthage, right over here, and Rome, right over here. The first Punic War started in 264 BC and lasted till 241 BC. Rome at that time wasn't the empire we know. This is the area that Rome was at that time. So that's basically Italy. Islands like Sicily, Sardinia, Corsica were not under the control or not in the hands of the Romans. The Carthaginians, right over here, they were a seafaring nation, and along the coast of the Mediterranean they would have trading settlements. They had some influence on Sicily, close by to Rome, but it wasn't. It was a seafaring nation. They get into a war, and this war lasts for about 20 years, and this war is predominantly fought in this area. Rome at that time was a land animal. They called it a land animal, a country that relies on land wars actually. Now, because the Carthaginians were seafaring, they were familiar with fleets and warships. But the Romans adapt quickly, and many battles are fought in the areas over here in the water, sea battles. And many of these are won by the Romans. There are some fights also on Sicily. And after many years, the Romans wear the Carthaginians down, and the Carthaginians give up, they surrender. Rome gets Sicily. It's the first overseas province for the Romans. They get these islands over here, and they take over also Sardinia and Corsica. Now, the Carthaginians have to also pay a lot of money. They have to give their fleet to the Romans, and after the First Punic War, the Carthaginians turn their eyes on Spain, because they have to look, of course, for a new source of income. And instead of trading settlements, they actually take over large portions of Spain. And some generals, including Hannibal Barcas, they still have a grudge against Rome, because Rome, of course, won the first Punic War, and Hannibal, feels that thinks that that's humiliation, and he plans another war against Rome. Now, first, what he does, he attacks a city called Saguntum, right over here, and the people from Saguntum say, no, we are under the protection of Rome. They send envoys, the Romans send envoys to Carthage, but Saguntum is destroyed, is taken over, pillaged, destroyed. And then the Second Punic War starts, and it lasts from 218 BC till 201 BC. And what actually happens is Hannibal marches with an army of about 70,000-80,000 men, 37 elephants, his famous march, goes over the Pyrenees into France. The Romans sent an interception force, but when the Romans arrive here, Hannibal is already here, and he decides to go over the Alps through the middle. And when he enters Roman territory, then the war really begins. Hannibal marches through Roman territory, and destroys army after army after army. The Romans actually sent 2 consuls over to Spain, but these 2 consuls get defeated also, so another blow to the Romans. And a big problem for Hannibal is that Hannibal anticipated that many of the Roman cities would turn over to him. That doesn't happen, so it's not possible for Hannibal to build up a real power base, because he doesn't have enough territory to control, and not many cities to use as power bases. Now, what happens after the Battle of Cannae? Many Roman soldiers are sent over to Sicily. They are trained by Scipio, the famous Scipio, who would be the adversary of Hannibal later. Scipio goes over to Spain and is very successful. He destroys the Carthaginian armies over here and takes over Spain. In the meantime, Hannibal is still wandering around Italy, but still, he wins many battles, but like I said, he can't make a power base. When Spain is taken over by the Romans send a force all the way over to the Carthaginian homeland, and the Carthaginians, they tell Hannibal to come back to save them. And at the plains of Zama in 202 BC, there's a battle between Scipio and Hannibal. Hannibal loses, and that means that the Carthaginians lose the Second Punic War also. they have to give in, they have to give a lot of money, and again they lose their fleet. But the Romans also take over this area, and that explains a bit also how it happened that Rome became a large empire. Because of the First and Second Punic War, they gained this, and they gained this. Plus, after the Second Punic War, they gain a lot of influence in this area. They have a few client kings who are loyal to Rome. So, then we have the Third Punic War, which starts at 149 BC and it lasts until 146 BC. Between the First and the Second Punic War, many Roman senators over here, they fear the threat, still the threat of Carthage, and they make up an excuse, and the Romans send an army to, with another Scipio is sent over. And this is a war of attrition of 3 years, and after this war Carthage no longer exists and the entire civilization is more or less wiped out by the Romans. And this is the First, Third and Second Punic War in a nutshell, and if I'm correct there's going to be a cool movie about the Second Punic War made by Vin Diesel, and I hope soon. So that's it, and I hope you enjoyed it.